a fight that I thought started brilliant in the first round for you. We've obviously seen Shane McGuigan's views on it. We've heard certain things from you in the past about that fight. It was a fight that I think that people thought was the right fight for you to take at the time because it would get you another belt. I think we felt that at the time. You were in that fight. What happened, mate?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, started really well. Felt comfortable first round, but then, yeah, he's just a smart fighter. You know, he's had 49 fights now, 48 wins or whatever it is, or maybe one less. But yeah, and there was just things he did in there which I didn't expect. I didn't expect it to be as tough as he was.
Right.
I thought the punches I was landing would be enough to dent him a lot more than they did.
Did you underestimate him at all?
I guess in that sense, I underestimated his toughness. Yeah, I'd say in that sense, underestimated his toughness because I've sparred, you know, plenty of tough people, and I know what the damage I can do. And then, yeah, and you know, he was able to hang in there and very smart, clever little blocks and defence on the inside.
Like, he's that guy that just looks like he's punching slow, but there's a fluidity around his work, but the timing seems to be great. I wanted to ask you that, because when you're looking at him, you're going, he looks really slow though, but it seems to be so effective. Did you fall into that trap as well?
Absolutely, yeah. His timing was really good, and his accuracy as well. Really good body puncher, and yeah, and he he knows what he's doing in there, you know. And he's had, you know, he's been pro since 2009. I'd had, I think, 7 amateur fights by the point he turned pro. So he's a lot more experienced than me. And
do you think he beats Opataya?
At first I did, but then since I've watched my fight with him back more recently, I'm not sure, because there's plenty I could have done in that fight that I'd change now. But I try and look at it from a positive point of view moving forward. What I've learned from that fight, like it's given me that sort of, you kind of get set in your ways when you're winning all the time, and you're like, okay, these are my strengths. My strengths are getting me the results. Just stick to them. And you iron out a few weaknesses here and there, but the weaknesses I had in that fight were, he really sort of highlighted them, all my weaknesses in that fight. So, you know, now me and Shane have been really working on them. But you kind of get set in your way. So now it's almost like I've got that real vigour back in terms of training, in terms of I can really strip it back and work on little tiny things. I feel like an amateur again, almost trying to
For him
work
to
on
exploit
things.
those weaknesses, though, in the contest just shows you how good he actually is, his boxing IQ, that he can work that out and adjust and exploit those through a contest. So, yeah, underlines, you know, what people are saying about him as being possibly one of the best, or if not the best in the division.
Yeah, I do think Jai beats him. I think he's just a bit fresher, a bit quicker, good feet, which I think you need with him. My feet were a bit slow at times. I had success dropping back on the night. Jai's very good at dropping back and punching. But yeah, I think he's very talented. You know, I was plenty of shots I'd throw in there, and I throw a lot of twos, like 2 shots at a time.
Were you surprised what was happening to you in that fight? Because I remember watching the first round thinking, oh, this is an easy night's work. Because in the first round, you were so dominant and you made him look so lethargic and unsure of himself. And then with all due respect, I would struggle to give you another round after that because it seemed to be like it changed between rounds. Were you surprised by him in terms of the first round you go out there, you start quick and you are, in my view, dominating the first round. And as I said, I thought to myself, that's a nice little £1,000 I put down on Chris. That's going to be an easy win. Because you look so good. Yeah, absolutely. But there was a sea change, almost instantaneous. He's got the measure of you, gone, well, actually, I've got to do something different. And change gear.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're talking about, the capability of being able to do that and adapt.
Yeah,
and
but
adjust.
I'm talking about him.
Yeah.
That's why I finished the fight quite well, because it took me too long to realise it, but like I couldn't land the 2 shots that I was
But what was
throwing.
Shane saying to you? Because this was a fight that was so set up for you, because they was looking around. My understanding was this was the fight that was picked for you to have to win another belt before you get to Opataya. Not because it was easy, but because this was the right fight for you. And Shane was very, very confident. Now, when it's going wrong, and it's visibly going wrong, and I mean, it's easy for us on the sidelines sitting in, especially someone like me that's never been in a ring like you guys have, but it's visibly going wrong. What is Shane saying to you at that time to change the course of events that are unfolding right in front of your eyes and in front of your face, literally?
He's saying the right thing in terms of to get to the right position to land punches and stuff like that. But like I said, I was throwing the 2 shots and they weren't enough. He was able to block, like I'd throw like a left hook, right uppercut. He'd block the left hook because he's a southpaw with his right shoulder, then block the right uppercut with his right hand. So I was having to then realise, it took me too many rounds to realise like the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th shot are the ones that are going to do the damage, rather than going boom and landing those first 2 and relying on them to stop him in his tracks so then I can go. I had to go boom, 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 and then I start putting my shots together better, which is why I finished better. 10, 11, 12 were, he won some of the rounds, but I still had more success in those rounds. And Shane was giving me, other tips about the jab and things like that, but he was just a smart fighter.
What was the psychological impact of a loss like to you? Because I saw you fight Lawrence in the Vitality and all the emotion that went with that. Then I saw you fight Masterneck at the Civic Centre in Bournemouth, right? And you came flying out the ring because it meant so much to you, that particular fight, defending your belt. When you go and lose a belt, and obviously you went and beat Richard at Selhurst Park, and all of those fights, I had not mean-spiritedly picked the opposition. In this fight, I picked you. So I am the common denominator of the fucking block,
Start
right?
picking everyone else.
But was there a psychological effect upon you in terms of some people take a loss really badly and find it difficult to contend with? You, as a pretty balanced individual, you seem to be one of those characters that can take success and failure with a bit of balance.
Yeah,
what was the effect like on you?
I think at first really, really hard. I think because of how I was feeling as well. Like I was in the hospital for like 6 hours after waiting to have stitches and CT scans and all sorts of stuff. And it just took a long time. So I had no food, no water, because they put me on a little morphine drip to help with the pain for like 5 minutes. So I couldn't, you're not allowed to eat or anything on one of them. So then I've just done a really hardest 12 rounds of my career physically. I look a mess. My ego's bruised, my body's bruised, and then I've got no sleep for all that time in the hospital and stuff like that. So the few days after, emotionally, it was really tough to take. And then the hardest thing was going home. All I wanted to do is get home and see my son. Yep. And I get through the door and he wouldn't hug me. He was like, I don't like your ouchies, because I had all the stitches. So that was the hardest thing by far. That was the most heartbreaking thing. He probably wouldn't hug me for about a week. So that was pretty difficult.
Why was there no rematch clause in it? Because you was going with something as well. It's not like you was going as the challenger. You're holding a title as well. Why was there no rematch clause?
I think in a lot of unifications at that level, it's not like we're a Usyk Fury where we're putting our belts on the line for a...
Was it a conversation though, or is it not a conversation?
No, because we wouldn't have wanted... If I asked for a rematch clause, he's going to ask for one.
Yeah, sure.
And we didn't want that. We were confident enough to go in there, win the belt off him, and then move on to Opataya or whoever the WBC champion. We just wanted to collect the belts, and I think he probably thought the same. And I think that was never really a conversation. I think in that situation where it's a 50-50 fight and you both think you're going to win,
I like it. I think that I love that you're not having that insurance, that insurance policy. I think it's good.
I've never asked for rematch clauses on my side. The only one I signed up to was the Lawrence one. But
more importantly, now you move forward. You're now out again on April 26th. You're in a division where people are departing and going up, potentially. And Richard Riakporhe's gone up, Lawrence Okole's gone back, which are two natural rivalries for you. You've been a cruiserweight champion of the world. So are you at a crossroads? Is it the
ambition?
Is it the Badu Jack route to get yourself a belt back and ultimately then maybe step up, or is it simply I'm a cruiserweight, I want to get back into the position I once had, which was one of the belt holders, and I'll see what opportunities come my way as a result of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think cruiserweight's natural weight for me. At the end of the day, I'm not the biggest cruiserweight, and I know Usyk, he was a big cruiserweight, and he's not the biggest heavyweight. Lawrence and Richard, for example, would look probably bigger than Usyk in the ring, but I wouldn't fill out like they do. I don't struggle at cruiserweight to make the weight. It's obviously always, you still have to make the weight, but it's not a struggle. And also my fighting style. My fighting style's not going to suit getting hit by blokes who are 18 stone. Right. My health is paramount. brain health. You know, we've been unfortunately reminded recently about the dangers of boxing with John Cooney and stuff. So I think it's, you know, and I've got a family, you know.
Chris, I've got, off the back of that, having a family, I've got, you know, if you've been British, Commonwealth, European, World Champion, you've boxed at the Vitality Stadium, which was a dream of yours, down in Bournemouth as well. Where do you find the motivation now to continue after coming off the back of a defeat? Because at this stage of your career,
you've achieved
that must be a big thing. Yeah, you've achieved everything. So how do you ignite that motivation now?
I think it's built in now. Like, in terms of, like, it's a habit. Boxing is a habit. Keeping myself looking for an edge to improve, whether that's a fitness, boxing, as a husband, as a father. I'm always looking to improve. I do my wife's head in. I truly do. The amount of stuff I send her, like, we need to do this for our son. We need to try and do this in our relationship. I wind her up. I'm one of those people. Just like, I have a growth mindset. I just always want to improve. So with boxing, I think it's the same. I just want to improve, and I feel like there's untapped potential still.
Simon mentioned it there. You know, Badou Jack, WBC champion, been inactive for a long time. He's at that sort of age where you go, if you're looking at the champions, you've got Jai Opetaia, but you're looking at Badou and you're going, that's the guy. That's my route back in. And then you've got that chance again to box for the undisputed again. But would that be someone you're targeting?
Yeah, look,
has that been a conversation?
Yeah, of course. We went to WBC convention, which was a bit of a strange one because the champion was Mikhailian. He got stripped. Badou Jack got reinstated. He was ordered to fight Riziki. He was the #1 challenger. Peralta, who was #2.
You were #4, right?
Sislak was #3. They got ordered to fight each other. And me and Brendan Glanton are 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So we're fighting each other. And there's that route there. But there's also talk of potentially getting a WBA ranking off the back of this fight, because I think Glanton's...
Is it important, is this performance for you, is it important in the manner of the performance, or is it just get the job done?
In this fight?
Yeah, in this fight. Coming back off the loss, do you want to... I mean, obviously you want a compelling victory, I know that.
Of course.
But is it paramount to you, or is it just getting the job done?
And also, the guy is a serious contender. He's a great fighter with not a big profile, so it's a high-risk fight for you.
Yeah, of course.
Because Glanton, you look at him, he's a dangerous guy.
Nobody really knows him, but he's, you know, he's got the same record: 20 wins, 2 losses, 2 losses which are, you know,
He had close losses.
They're very close losses.
Close, split decisions.
So it's a dangerous fight, of course, but that's what gets me motivated. I know the dangers he poses. It's not like I'm underestimating him because he's not a big name, and it's a fight that I need to win. And I guess if I win and have a flat performance, Simon, to answer your question, then maybe that'll entice a champion. Who knows? Obviously, that's not my aim.
No, of course not.
But the win, I guess, is the most important.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Then obviously I want to perform well because, you know, for my own sake, and you know, for me, it's performance is what gets you the victory. Sure.